Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 9 of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quinn, and it's a pleasure to be here with you as always. Episode number 9 features a young man who is very inspirational to me. He has taught me a lot that I know, and I hope that he will inspire you. His new business venture is literally changing lives in the financial sector. His name is none other than Dominic Merritt. Episode number 9 is similar to episode number 6 and episode number 8. Only audio, no video. I'm still battling, some video issues, but I will definitely get back to our normal setup very, very soon. Thank you for your patience. Happy listening. Hello, Dominic.
Hey, Quinn, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Just trying to stay cool in this heat.
Great. Out to you all.
Yeah, man.
I always say that it's a pleasure to have conversations with people like you. When I think about you, I often think of somebody who likes to push themselves forward, as a matter of fact. So, it's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Likewise, bro. I actually love to listen to you because you are a person that when it comes to anything you put your mind to, you do an excellent job, man.
Thank you. So, this conversation should flow smoothly because of that. Like minds.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so we should get straight into it. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, you guys can see the name Dominic. From Barbados. Flattest island in the Caribbean. Probably after Antigua or before Antigua. What do I say about myself? I love God and I love, helping people. That's my top priority.
I like that a lot. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. Okay, so you said you like helping
Yeah.
people. But in terms of what you do for a living, how does that tie in? How does helping people tie into what do you do for a living?
All right, nice. I actually get to help people on different levels. I say levels in different areas. So I'm able to help people from a spiritual standpoint. I'm able to help people from a psychological standpoint because in those two areas are areas I've actually studied in, some degree of training in. And I'm able to recently to help people to make decisions to benefit the future, especially from a yes, a financial standpoint, but more importantly, from a financially literate standpoint.
Okay,
I
wow.
believe that we placed on this earth to develop holistically, and where our talents are, we're supposed to use them to help others to develop in that way as well.
Okay, lovely. I like that a lot. So you spoke about holistic development. Okay, so how do you do that though? Like what type of projects are you into?
That's an excellent question, boy. Well, currently, apart from doing my studies, still finishing up some studies. Um,
Okay.
Professionally speaking, I am in the space of crypto and Bitcoin and educating people, how it can work for them, especially for us in the Caribbean, because we are always thought of as, a third world,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to bring relevance to us, and helping us in the Caribbean to see that there is possibility, there are opportunities there for us as well. So that is my biggest push right now.
Okay, wow. Crypto.
Yeah, man.
Pretty interesting. Why did you start in that space? Why crypto?
Excellent question. I'll tell you why. A couple years back, I think around 2012 or 2013, I came across crypto, I think, for the first time. And it always fascinated me from back then, I must say. I didn't get a chance to grab a hold of it then. I was working back then, back home in Barbados. And, I just never really pushed forward, but I was always curious about it. Then the opportunity came for me to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs in the digital space online, who were passionate about, having crypto as a form of, investing, having it as a form of, earning something extra, especially during the pandemic, because the conventional 9 to 5 job, job security, let's be honest, is a myth. And I believe that the power is really with the entrepreneur now more so than the employee.
Right. I understand. I believe that as well. So you're helping people establish themselves in a space that I would say is not spoken about quite enough in the Caribbean. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, man. We've been schooled to just speak about the conventional way. The conventional way being, get a good degree, get a good job. If you're gonna get a good job, you're gonna get a good retirement plan. Bro, it's all a myth right now because the market has shifted from a secure 9 to 5, 40 years of work experience to now persons being hired on contract basis. So if you as a person don't have things in place in the event that you cannot be hired for whatever reason, then you're really going to be, struggling and dependent on other people to feed you. Right? I believe that God has given us talents and abilities to use them and not to become dependent on anybody else.
Right, I agree with that.
Dependent on anybody else.
Right, yes, right, because we need people either way.
Correct.
But we cannot be overly dependent on them.
Correct.
Right. I agree with that 100%. So okay. So you spoke about not being dependent on others. What are the dangers of that, though?
There's a danger in that because overly dependent on people means then that you don't take full responsibility for you, and you don't take full responsibility for your decisions now. There's always somebody else that led you to this. There's always some circumstance that brought me to this. And listening to a lot of people speak, whether it's on online platforms, whether it is in person, listen to them how they think, that people have to be, always there for them or always give them stuff or give them handles, as we like to say. I think that is a very dangerous mindset.
Yeah, so I agree with that 100%. 100%. Often we um think that we have to depend on people like the government to do things for us or to finance us. And if we just understand what we have to do and how we get to a sustainable financial level, then we will know how to move forward. So I agree with you 100%. I agree with what you're saying. Want access to all things Game Changers? Here's what to do. Visit our website at www.changers758.myshopify.com. Get access to the latest podcasts. Check out our weekly chess moves. Get yourself some neat merch, and so much more. We look forward to seeing you. Log on today. Game Changers proudly supports Kids Health Creative, a publishing house encouraging children ages 4 to 12 to live healthy lifestyles, all while having good, clean fun. Get the latest book, Be Smart, at 10% off when you use promo code QuinnST at checkout. That's QUINNST NNST at checkout. Get yours today. How does somebody start on that process? How does somebody start getting towards financial literacy and stability?
Literacy and stability. Excellent question. Um, I remember there's a quote I think by the late Jim Rohn where he said that um, formal education will earn you a living, but self education will earn
Mm-hmm.
you a fortune. And I think that the
Wow.
more time you take to develop your knowledge about finances, not just about bank loans, not just about credit union loans, but your financial knowledge about how the market works. What are your options when it comes to owning and buying assets, and understanding liabilities and understanding the principles behind saving and investing. Um, those are indispensable things. So I think it starts with you being hungry for a change, because
Mm-hmm.
that hunger should, or is informed by a reason, a why. You not necessarily going to start craving to eat bust up shot unless you have experienced what it feels like, or you've had people that told you what it tastes like. So when you are looking at other
Right, right.
people, and not saying that you have to be, constantly look at people to compare yourself, but when you're realizing that if it's possible for Quinn, then chances are it might be possible for me. And there's really no division in terms of our abilities. It's just how we use each 24-day cycle that makes the difference. 24-hour cycle,
I
sorry,
see.
that makes the difference.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got what you were saying. I understood. I understood. All right. So, wow, that's pretty interesting. Um. So, does one just start this by themselves? First of all, did you just start it by yourself, or how did you get into this space? Did somebody invite you? How did you get started?
Somebody did invite me, and they invited me to learn about crypto and so on, and I said absolutely no, I wasn't interested. And then
Right.
they came back a second, and then I decided to hop on completely out of curiosity. Had no idea what was going to happen, and it came at such a point, a pivotal point in my life where I was working at a job where I was seriously underpaid. I was overworked, underpaid. I was actually being paid
Mm-hmm.
less than minimum wage at that job,
Wow.
and I was saying to myself, logically speaking, that this is not going to help me. And this is when I started my studies, my postgrad studies. I was saying this is not going to help me to pay for school, so I need to make
Right.
a decision. I need to find something else. And this came along, and at first, as I said, I was very curious. But I said, you know what? If it is God's will, He will open the door for it. And doors have flung open through this experience. But most importantly, it's been a certain level of joy that I gain when people get to understand financial education and want financial freedom and are willing to put in the work towards it. That is to me very important at this point in my journey.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I'm not sure if you actually touched on the name of the opportunity
Oh,
um that you that you're into. So
okay,
just let the people know the name first of all.
okay, great. So the name of it is CFX, Cash FX Group, Forex FX.
Right.
And what we do is that we are I would say a two-prong approach company where we teach people about the forex market. They're interested in becoming forex traders. There's an education platform for that, and we also help provide the service of actually trading for people who don't have the time to trade on their own, so that they have another
Mhm.
source of income that is not dependent on their physical presence or on they're having to be getting people, as we like to say. So it's something that really
Right.
works for people in the long run. And yeah, it's been really cool. One of the things too about it is that what I've come across the fact that, especially in our church, anytime we speak about things to do with money, we take it to the extreme and we think, oh, money is the root of all evil. And while that is true, I think
Right. Right.
another root of all evil is the lack of education and management skills when it comes to money. Because we as a
Right.
church, we're very tough on earning money, and we always want the type and offering, to keep going because it's needed for the propagation of the gospel. But I think that we don't
Mm-hmm.
pay somebody enough attention to finances and how people manage their finances. And I'm
Right.
a strong believer as a Christian, as a Seventh-day Adventist, that it is possible for us as Christians to have financial freedom, to be able to be clear of debt, and not having to be living from paycheck to paycheck. I believe it is part of God's will.
Right. Right.
I mean, it may not be, everybody's desire, but I believe it's part of God's will.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I often say that God didn't put us in this world to struggle. Now I know we do struggle as a result of sin, but we are not
Correct.
put in this world to struggle. And He has laid out foundations and rules that we can follow to become financially free and also
Correct.
to become financially literate. But all we have to do is
Correct.
study. So we have to study and understand, the rules and be exposed to it, as you said, and then we can be able to move forward. So I agree with that 100%. You know, um, I often tell people, it the Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It said the love of money is the root of all evil, which is not the same thing, right? Money
Correct.
in and of itself is important. It's very, very important. But the love of money is the issue, right? If
Correct.
you love
Yeah.
money more than you love people, then
Uh,
you have a problem, right?
and
So
it becomes
there's a
a
balance.
false
There's a
god.
balance.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely. 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 So there is a balance to be struck, and I agree with you 100%. 100%. Okay, but Dominic, who is this opportunity good for? Can anybody join? Is that good for somebody who is struggling financially? Who can join this?
What's the average person, from the person that has nothing to the person that thinks that they have something? Anyone can join, because this is a reality. Um, and this is how you know how much quote unquote wealth you may have. Let's say if a person that is watching this, like, well, they're watching this video, is watching it, in the comforts of their office, they're working at a job, whatever the case is. God forbid they are laid off. They get their last paycheck.
Hmm.
The question has to be, how long will that paycheck last you? And if you can't say that that
Yes, good
paycheck will
question.
last you to the end of the year, then you, my friend, are in serious financial straits. You are what we call living paycheck to paycheck. Right? You have no choice.
Yep.
You understand? Every 30 days is a rat race to the next
Wow.
30 days. Next
Wow.
30 days. You understand? And because of that, I think as a people, it is so damning to be living like this. I when I was working back home in Barbados, I worked with a guy who had retired. He had been working for 40 years.
Hmm.
Day and day out, he was working. And Quinn, when I tell you, the guy worked up to the Friday. That was his last day of work. He retired. By the Monday, he was dead. And that showed me
Wow.
that his job was replaced by somebody else when he died. And all the work he had put in for 40 years, he was not able to enjoy it after so much time.
Hmm. Wow.
And that's what taught me the importance
Wow.
too of really having your money work for you. And that's one of the principles that the company that you work with promotes, passive income, having your money work for you, because you're not always going to be in a position to be working for money. Warren Buffett said it best. If you work for money, if you don't find a way to create money while you sleep, you will work for money to the day that you die. And that is a principle that is
Yes.
founded in the Bible too. Especially with the story of the guy with the one talent. Where he was jealous of the other two
Right.
persons. They had little more, but they multiplied what they had because they found a way to let their money work for them. But he was so caught up with his paycheck and envious of the rich person getting well off. And it's kind of indicative of what's happening today's time, where a lot of people are upset with the wealthy getting wealthy. The wealthy persons are taking the time to multiply their assets. I think we as a people can start doing the same in the Caribbean.
Yes, we have to. We have to start doing that as well. Or
Correct.
else we would be, as you said, living paycheck to paycheck. And that's not
Correct.
something that we want. That's not something that we can afford. Literally,
Correct.
we cannot afford it. Right? So I think that's
Exactly.
something amazing. Amazing.
Exactly,
So
Roy.
um so we're wrapping up this segment. Um my question then too is, how can somebody get in contact with you if they want to
Oh,
start up?
well, as I like to say now, I am all over the social media. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on, I do a lot of live videos too, doing financial education series. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me, and you guys that know Quinn, you can speak to Quinn, because Quinn is like Google for everybody. So Quinn has everybody's contact. So they can connect you to me too if need be. But I try to make myself present. My philosophy is not ever to stunt on people either. My philosophy is just to educate people, because I've seen too many families being broken up because of money, and because of
Hmm.
poor financial management. And I purpose in my heart a couple years back that I will not be part of that.
I
Yeah.
I really agree with that. That's something important, important. And what you're doing is helping people. So we'll definitely put people in contact with you. We'll leave your links down in the description. And as you said,
Okay,
if
no
they know
problem,
me
man.
personally, I can make the connection.
True, true, true.
Definitely, definitely.
True, true,
Okay,
true, man.
Dominic. Um, a final question in this segment. What advice would you give
Sure.
to a young person who is just starting up? Just left school. Um, wants to know, how can I be financially secure? I've been told my entire life, go and work for somebody, get a good job, and it should be fine. What advice would you give a young person?
I'll tell them the greatest weapon they can have is to read. One of the most powerful things that has worked for me is to expand my knowledge by reading. And reading has been able to help me to understand how a lot of things work, even outside of the regular education system. What I would advise a young person to do is to take time to invest in their mind. Pray,
Mm-hmm.
keep your relationship with God. That needs to be the paramount. Number two, you need to invest in reading books about working on your character. Character development is highly important, because I don't believe that you get in life what you want. You get in life who you are, right? And the person of value that you can become through that is way more important than anything that anybody can pay you. Another thing I would say to young people who are now starting out, you know, be willing to fail, because failure
Yes.
literally only brings you closer to success, because you found a way in which this will not work, so you find another way, and if you fail again, you'll find another way until you get to the right one. Don't be afraid to fail. You don't have anything to prove to anybody else. Feel, as Denzel Washington says, feel forward until you get to
Yes,
that stage
I love that
that
quote.
you're looking towards.
Yes, feel forward. Feel forward.
Yeah, man.
All right. Our chess move for today comes from a book by Robert Kiyosaki. You know, Dominic was talking about financial literacy, and this man is almost a guru, I would say, for
Yeah,
financial literacy. The name of the book
yeah,
is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
yeah,
It speaks about managing your funds. It speaks about how rich people think versus how poor people think. And you would
yeah.
realize that the difference between how rich people think and poor people think is a mindset. It's a mindset, right? That is the
Correct,
true difference between these two people. So I would
correct.
definitely recommend this book, and we'll leave the link down below.
Below.
Right? So Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Correct.
get yourself a copy today. Okay, Dominic. So we're moving on to our quick hitters segment. You know, I often say this is the true fun segment of the podcast. And I have a couple of questions, that I want you to answer in 30 seconds or less to let the people know a little bit more about Dominic, the fun person. I mean, if it goes over 30 seconds, we might allow you. But, it depends on the question, and it depends
Yeah,
on why you go over 30 seconds. All right, so you ready?
problem.
Okay, let's go. So, first question. You have the opportunity to go to dinner with three people from history. Who are you taking with you?
Wow, I love that. Okay, definitely first Jesus. Um, Secondly, Miles Monroe. I love the way that man
Okay.
thinks. I think he's a great. And thirdly, um, I would say thirdly, boy, Albert Einstein. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the
Yeah.
three again? The number one is who?
All right. So Albert Einstein, Miles Monroe, and Jesus at the top.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. That's a pretty good dinner.
Once Jesus there, didn't take care of.
Right. 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 You will have a pretty interesting conversation as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. The next question that we'd like to ask here, Apple or Android, and why?
Apple at this point, Apple. I'm a reformed Androidite.
Okay.
Because I've been on Android for the longest time, and I've gotten kind of over the hype of having you know multiple features, where in fact the average person just uses about five
Right. Right.
on average every day. So I like the fact that Apple can
Yeah.
kind of you can choose for me and just keep it simple. I like
All right. Cool. 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 That's a good answer. We'll take that answer. And final question: what type of music do you like to listen to get you in the groove for work
oh,
or maybe for relaxation? What's your favorite type of music?
gospel, contemporary gospel, worship gospel. Yeah, or and every now and again some good R&B songs. When you're thinking about your boo,
Right.
something. Yeah.
Okay. Big up the boo one time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All right. All right. All right. I like that. So gospel
yeah,
and
man.
R&B. Right. So
Yeah,
Dominic is an easygoing type guy.
yeah, man. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Definitely. All right. All right. All right. I like that one. Okay, well, Dominic, so this has been the end of today's show. And to thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure
Hey, thank
being
you.
here with you and listening to you. I want to add before I wrap up, guys, earlier on I said Dominic is somebody who really inspires me, but I want to add specifics here. So while we were at USC, he used to be the editor of the school magazine, right? Before I became the editor of the school magazine.
Yes.
And
You did an
before,
excellent job, man. You did an
I
excellent job.
became the editor, I went up for it. Thank you. Before I went up to become the editor, I used to write for Dominic. So I was as a writer under
Yeah.
Dominic's leadership. And
Yeah.
he really inspired me to take up the mantle after him. You know, he was such a good leader in
Yeah.
that sense that I wanted to take up the
Wow.
mantle after him. So, Dominic, this podcast, a lot of what I am now is credit to you actually. So, thank you
Wow.
very much, bro, and continue being you.
I'm humble, bro. I am really humble. I gotta say too, my it's such a privilege to be here. I love what you're doing with Game Changers. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, and I just can't wait to see you even continue to post content. And your motivational stuff always comes in handy for me too. Especially on days when you just don't feel like doing anything.
Continue pushing forward. Guys, I look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for listening. Stay hungry. Bye bye.